Mimi and Pie. Pie, Mimi. I'm definitely not making this up as I go along. Mimi and Pie. Pie, Mimi. We definitely know how to read things. Hello, Internet! Welcome back to another episode of Mimi and Pie Definitely Know How to Read Things.
We definitely do.
And in this episode, reading Chapter 8 of Minecraft the Island by Max Brooks, author of World War Z. And the chapter is called The Way, and it turns out Minecraft music is louder than we thought. That or ITV is louder than we thought.
I don't know.
I was thinking of crafting items in this world, how the process could be mental as well as physical. By the time I'd swum around to my beach, 3 clear steps had crystallized. Plan, what do I want to do, right down to the smallest detail. Prepare, what do I need, tools and materials, in order to make my plan work. Prioritize, what do I need to do first in order to do everything else. This way guided my process in the creation of something I would soon dub my observation room. In my initial plan, I imagined a small chamber at the base of the hill's western slope with an outer wall of glass blocks. In order to create this room, I would need to prepare the following: glass blocks, torches, and extra tools. Priority 1 was tools. Digging through the entire hall would take 1, maybe 2 extra pickaxes, which would take cobblestone and wood, which I had plenty of. Now that I was prepared with all the tools and materials I needed, I had a mental plan of what I needed to build. I got right to work picking at the back wall of my bunker. At first things were going great. I almost forgot both my empty stomach and my aching ankle until the deepening tunnel got darker. How big is this hill? I thought, sticking a flickering torch to the wall. What if I run out of torches? If that happens, I said aloud, then I'll just go digging for more coal and finish the observation room later. It felt good for once to have an answer instead of just worrying about questions. Instead of just worrying questions. To act instead of just react. Maybe this really was the way.
Turns out I didn't need more torches just yet. But I will. I made that up. That's not in the book. It wasn't long before I broke through onto the other side. That's like a song too. And saw the sun was dipping below the horizon.
See?
I shouted over to the cow and sheep.
The way is working!
Bah, said the white sheep, reminding me that in less than a minute I'd be caught out in the open, in the darkness.
Right,
I said, placing my glass blocks.
should factor in the sunset.
I thought angrily.
And the size of the hill. Stupid planning, stupid mistakes.
The cow must have known what I was thinking because it gave me an encouraging moo.
Good point!
I called back.
This is my first time practicing the 3 Ps, which, now that I say it, means I should add a 4th. Practice!
As the sun sank and stars rose, I hollowed out a 3x3x3 chamber behind my new clear wall. All that was left was to fix my last comforting torch to the wall.
Not bad.
I said proudly, wishing this world would let me rest my hands on my hips. Just like Pie is standing right now.
Except I don't technically have hips, because I'm a sock puppet.
Yep.
But they're in where my hips would be if I was a human and had legs.
You just have to imagine it. I turned back to the giant window, staring out at the twilight. So far, nothing moved except the animals.
Well, at least I'm learning that you would never stop eating.
I told them.
Now, if only the monsters would show up.
Add another P, mooed the cow. Patience.
Can't argue with that.
I said, and settled down for a long wait. The first thing I learned that night was that monsters didn't appear until the sky was completely dark. The next thing was that they literally appeared. They didn't crawl out of the ocean or the ground like I'd initially thought. 1 second they weren't there, the next...
Bling!
Okay, maybe I added the...
Bling!
for dramatic effect, But you get it, right? They just materialized, and they didn't do it one at a time. They came in mobs. Zombies and spiders, and even those sneaky combustible creepers. I noticed that they didn't care about any of the animals. Even when one of the sheep walked right in front of a zombie, that zombie saw me though and made a beeline across the meadow.
Wait. I thought mobs could see through glass. Oh my gosh, right, that's an old bug. They probably patched it by now. When did they patch that? It must have been forever ago.
I don't know.
Or maybe it's a bug that, or maybe they changed it so they couldn't see through glass.
Instinctively, I backed away into the tunnel.
Gotta build a door for this.
I thought, ready to slam down a couple cobblestones in the entrance.
The undead brute skulked away slowly from one end of the window to the other, never taking its black eyes off of me. Feeling a little emboldened by its passivity, I took a step forward, then another, then hobbled right up to the glass. Well, I asked, you gonna attack or what? Fittingly, I got less than eloquent.
Grrr.
I know you can see me, and your buddy kept trying to break down my door, so what's the difference now?
Grrr.
He growled grumpily, content to trade looks instead of blows. Well, at least I can't smell you, I sneered, but then added, can you smell me?
The ghoul moaned, standing like a statue of rotten meat.
Is that it?
I asked, pressing my face to the glass.
Is it 'cause you can't smell me?
I had no way to test this theory other than breaking a hole in the glass, which I was not willing to do. So I chalked it up once again to the rules making sense, just not to me. Whatever the rule was, smell or maybe sound or even some other sixth sense I wasn't aware of, all the other mobs seemed to obey it too.
Several of the spiders came skittering towards me, their eyes sending chills down my spine. One of the arthropods just sat there looking at me while another scuffed right up to my window and up the hill. Like the zombie, neither seemed to have any interest in attacking. Of course, they can't reach you, they can't break the glass.
Nope.
Next came one of those deadly came one of those silently gliding creepers.
Mimi and Pie definitely know how to read things.
We definitely do! And this time I backed it way up in the tunnel. If I was wrong about my sense theory and if that landman decided to detonate next to the glass, I was toast. I even placed one block in the tunnel's entrance and was ready to place a second if I saw the creature start to vibrate. Luckily, block in hand, I watched the monster glide away. My sigh of relief, however, was cut short the moment I saw another creature emerge from the woods. Like the zombies, this one was humanoid. However, unlike the putrid, stumbling flesh bags, this thing had no flesh on its bones. Wait.
I think I know what it is.
No skeletons have spawned up to this point? What's the chances of that?
Only zombies?
Yeah, he has.
And squids?
He's seen.
And cows and sheep?
He's seen all the like
spiders.
He's seen all the main hostile mobs except for skeletons.
Lucky him. Although he did have a really weird spawn, like in the ocean.
He didn't see an Enderman either. But not seeing a skeleton is weird. In fact, it was only bones. It was a human skeleton and the clickety-clack sound it made meshed at her that first night in the woods. Was it one of you guys that shot that arrow? I whispered.
Oh, that means one spawned the first night.
But he didn't see it.
No.
This is his first time.
But it still spawned.
Okay.
And it shot at him.
But this is his first time seeing one. Still weird. Anyways, I got my answer a second later when I noticed that the skeleton had something else in his hand. A curved stick, a collection of sticks tied together on either end by a taut string. A bow! Mystery solved!
Just then, another skeleton clacked into view, and for a second, I worried about the two of them taking pot shots at my window. Worry vanished when, to my astonishment, the two bone beasts looked at each other, raised their bows, and began shooting.
That would only happen if one of them accidentally shot the other one first in an attempt to hit the player.
With each impact, the wounded skeleton was knocked back, flashing red, then returned fire.
Oh, so I gotta get one of those bows.
I said, giddy with the idea of a ranged weapon.
Please just kill each other so I can grab one in the morning.
And then, as a teasing answer to my prayers, the skeleton battle was over. The new challenger had beaten his rival, shooting him into a cloud of smoke. I saw a bow hovering where the loser had vanished.
Shockingly enough, them dropping a bow is actually really rare, but it's happened to me, like, surprisingly more often than you think. And in fact, in a lot of my Minecraft worlds, the first bow I've had was actually just randomly dropped from a skeleton while I was still trying to gather up resources and not caring about staying out at night to get bows and stuff.
I go fishing. I find my bows while fishing. People drop their bows in the water a lot. I think it's the skeletons. They go in the water and then they drop their bows because they can't swim with a bow. They just kind of walk on the bottom.
Theory. That's a 10 out of 10 theory, Mimi.
And that's how the bows get in the water when you go fishing and you catch a bow.
That makes sense.
And then the bows with like super magic, they're the ones that have been there the longest and absorbed all the magic from the water.
And that would explain why most of the boats are partially damaged. So me and Mimi just had a great idea of setting it up so that whenever we hit the record button, the door locks itself. So now we just gotta figure out how to do that with our limited magic.
Because everyone keeps walking in here while we're recording.
Which is so hypocritical of Mommiesaurus, because she always gets mad at us and we so much as make a tiny noise while she's recording.
Daddysaurus doesn't like it either.
Yeah! He doesn't like it when people do that to us.
It messes up the recording.
Anyways.
That's getting edited out.
No, it's not. Continuing on. Patience, I reminded myself, watching helplessly as the bow hovered just a few dozen blocks from me. Glancing down the tunnel, I thought I saw the sky lightening through my door. Won't be long now, I said, looking back at the prize. And then, to my utter anguish, the weapon blinked out of existence. No!
I
Wait,
whined.
guys, we gotta find the best epic now.
No!
Yes.
No! No, why? What are you doing?
Finding the best epic
Kai is
now.
hijacking my computer. I think there's laws against that. What are you doing? You're
Oh, hey,
clicking
look.
buttons.
This is the first epic no that isn't like a song or anything. Alright, let's see.
That's a YouTube video.
It is.
Is that what that's like?
No, yes. It was the first epic no. It was the first of all epic no's, I think.
Really?
Well, the first one from that person. Okay. And it was just play that no we played again right now. I whined, realizing that dropped objects in this world apparently have a lifespan. I did pick up something that morning. That morning, though, vital proof that my shape theory was correct. Watching two zombies, one in the meadow and the other in the woods. I saw the exposed one burst into flames, while the other one remained safe. While this was happening, I heard a rapping, clicking above my head. Was a skeleton running or dying somewhere up the hill? Maybe I'd get lucky and snag a bow after all. I waited until the clicking ceased. Then went back to the tunnel. I grunted and groaned with every smarting step up the cliff wall. In a replay of the previous morning, I got to the summit and into another staring contest with a spider. Okay, I said to the daytime nightmare. If I'm right, then daylight makes you passive. And I'd like to be right now. I could see something hovering behind its bulbous body. A bow? Good, spider, I said, taking cautious steps toward it. Good, giant carnivorous mutant. It stayed still. I took another. It looked away. It crept right past the arachnid and right over the press I'd literally risked life for. Not a bone, but the next best thing. The shaft was wood, oak or birch, I couldn't tell. On the sharp triangular tip looked a lot like flint. The end was made of a feather, which I guess helped it fly straight. So this is an arrow, I thought. Now if only I can get the thing to shoot it with.
Moo! Came a call from down in the meadow.
Yeah, I got it.
I called back, holding up the arrow triumphantly.
But I also got reams of intel on those creatures of the night.
Mentally, I ran through everything I'd learned from just one observation. How shade worked, how skeletons attacked each other, how nothing attacked me as long as I was safe behind glass. And the last observation brought up a lingering question.
Why did they stay away? Was it the absence of smell or the light?
Moo! Replied the cow, going back to its breakfast of green squares.
Is it the light? I pressed. It makes more sense than smell, right? I mean, if sunlight kills monsters or...
I glanced sideways just in time to see the spider vanish.
It banishes them, whatever you want to call it. Then does a less powerful light, like a torch, keep them away?
Moo! Called the cow over its black and white butt.
I know.
I said.
Only one way to find out.
Hiking down the easier but still painful western slope, I continued to talk out my next project with the cow.
What if
I began.
I set some torches outside near my observation bubble so I can see if they work? Planning. But
I continued.
in order to do that, I need to make more torches. And to do that, I need to get more coal. Preparing.
Climb a mountain.
Which means the first thing I need to do is make sure I have enough pickaxes and maybe a shovel or two in case I hit dirt or sand. Or gravel. Gravel's the worst. Prioritizing. Which I already know how to do. Oh, wait. Oh, I thought... Okay. For some reason, when he said all the things, I thought he was referring to whatever the next thing was, but it was referring to what the stuff he just explained was. And it was practice.
Moo! Warned the cow, reminded me of the need for...
I know.
I criped, eager to start my new adventure.
Patience.
It turned out that practice was really what I needed because I had no experience with mining. Isn't that what it's technically called? Mining? Digging down into the earth for mineral resources? Well, whatever it's called, I didn't know how to do it. For starters, as I cut a rough diagonal staircase down through solid rock, I realized that I'd left light out of my planning. This meant I had to hop back up the stairs, which killed my ankle, to grab the torch from my bunker and to place it and replace it on the stone wall every few blocks I dug.
I don't know about you, but I feel like my first priority would be get food and repair your broken ankle, but...
That seems like a pretty good priority. It was slow going, and at one point almost fatal. That's what happens when you don't heal a tendon on broken ankle. Digging down a few dozen blocks, I came to a hard tan stone directly in front of me. Because the stone looked like sand, I dubbed it sandstone, and when I dug it out, an actual block of sand fell down to replace it. I got out my shovel and removed the new sand block, then the next sand block that fell in its place, then the third that fell in its place, then backed up as a stream of deep blue water rushed in.
I've broken through to the sea.
I thought, shaking my head at the blunder. I hadn't thought about the fact that this island was essentially an underwater mountain, and digging at an angle would eventually find me out in the ocean.
You know, this is why I usually do spirally staircases when I don't have much like X or Z but I have a lot of wire to cover. I do a spiral staircase.
I do spirally staircases when I'm going from like the top of a mountain down into the valley.
Yeah, that way you don't accidentally dig out the side and hit yourself. Really awkward.
But I keep my staircase near the side so that I can always just poke a little window out and see how much further I have to go because I always forget to grab my Y coordinates.
Strategery!
Write down your Y coordinates. Sometimes they're important, especially when going up and down.
Remember, if you're on Bedrock Edition, just go in the settings and enable show coordinates. If you're on Java Edition, press, I think it was F7, it was one of the F keys, to bring up details, which includes the coordinates. And that's your lesson of the day.
Well, thank you for that. That was very informative.
At least this world's water is weird.
I thought, remembering how the blast crater had never filled up, in my world, breaking into the sea would have flooded the entire tunnel, at worst drowning me, and at best destroying all my work.
I got that going for me.
I said, turning around and digging in the opposite direction.
I don't have to worry about drowning.
And then, looking up at the solid blocks above me, I said,
Or cave-ins. Ah, you fool.
cave-ins are awful. I don't know how many times I died to gravel cave-ins.
I know, they're the worst.
I've learned every time I'm digging near gravel, just lay a torch underneath of me. And that way, if I upset some gravel and it all falls on top of me, at least the square that I am, all of the gravel just disappears. And I'm safe. Except I'm stuck in...
torch.
Except I'm stuck inside a bunch of gravel.
But
at least I'm alive. I just have to dig it out.
Safety torch.
And I can dig it with a torch.
Safety torch.
Safety torch is awesome.
Safety torch.
Safety torch is a meme.
Insert.
It's a Mimi and Pie meme.
Insert.
An original.
Okay, insert parody of safety dance, but it's safety torch instead. Or cave-ins. I shouldn't have ever said that out loud. Yes, I thought I knew that sand was the only substance that didn't stick, and that if I saw another sandstone block, I'd be well warned. And yes, I know that superstition and tempting fate are silly and primitive and wrong. Still, I shouldn't have said it out loud, because the next moment I knocked away a stone above my head and looked up just in time to see the block above it come crashing down.
I know that feeling.
The world went dark. I choked and gasped. I was drowning, not in water, but in this hard, gritty stuff that scratched and crackled as I tried to stuggle. Stuggle?
Stuggle? What's that?
Struggle.
Everybody do the stuggle.
English version of struggle. As I tried to struggle free, my hand burst into open air. I clawed at the smooth stone, half crawling, half swimming. I wriggled out of the suffocating trap. I stood panting on the last step of my tunnel, feeling like an elephant that Tad sat on my chest. Bruised ribs, scraped skin, throat scratching like it was made of sandpaper. Looking up, I saw why. I just discovered this world's other non-stick substance, a material halfway between sand and rock.
I know what it is.
Something I barely noticed in my world, maybe on somebody's driveway, had almost accomplished what zombies and giant spiders and creeping explosives haven't failed to do. Gravel! I hacked, feeling the stinging wounds I now have to live with for who knows how long. Getting out my shovel, I tried to clear the column away, and just like the sand, it kept filling in. Clearing the fourth cube, however, got me a little added bonus, another sharp flake of flint. Peering up into the hole above my head, I saw a huge deposit of gravel, which might hold more flint flakes if I ever needed them. For now, I said softly, fearing my own voice might cause another cave-in, I think I'll stay well away from you.
Changing the planning section of my way, I decided to modify my mining technique. Instead of going diagonally, I tried digging in a spiral. Wow, he figured it out.
He figured out the pro strats. Yeah.
He leveled, that's like leveling up.
2 blocks down, turn right. 2 blocks down, turn right, and so on.
That way, I not only avoided the ocean, but also knew exactly what was above my head.
I might have been safer, but after being buried alive, I sure didn't feel like it. I don't think I was claustrophobic at this point, but digging through these narrow confines of rock with barely enough room above my head and only one torch that I had to keep hopping painfully back up my makeshift staircase to get, well, let's just say it wasn't my most pleasant experience. At one point, when I probably should have remembered the cat's warning about patience, I started to seriously consider giving up the whole operation. I began looking behind me more often, picturing the long, punishing climb back up. Was all this worth it? Was my stupid experiment with torchlight and monsters just that? Heck, the whole point was to work on making myself safer. And I'd almost gotten myself killed. Maybe I should just forget. A block of stone fell away from me to reveal flecks of black coal. Finally! I breathed in a chuckling groan. About time you guys showed up. Picking out the precious black lumps I added, and there's so many of you too. I counted at least a dozen of them, which meant 48 torches. Yep, if I used all of them at once, I can light a tree for my experiment, I thought happily, and my cave and my observation room and the tunnel and make them as bright as
Tacos!
I stopped and stared at the rock behind the coal. It was
I
speckled.
added that taco part.
It was speckled but orange and seemed to reflect the torchlight. Some kind of metal, I wondered?
Metal tacos?
Copper? Brass? Was brass a naturally occurring ore, or was it a mixture of other elements? I still don't know the answer to that
Brass
one.
tacos.
I picked out the rock and the two identical ones behind it, and unlike the coal, whatever was embedded in them stayed put.
Brass tacos are eaten by the brass golems on Brass World.
True. I think I know how to get you out, I said, hoofing it back up to the bunker and wincing with each painful step. Making torches as I went, I made sure to place them far enough apart to light my entire way to the surface. You might say I was wasting the very material I'd come for, but if these 3 new cubes turned out to be what I thought they were, then I'd be going back down there soon. I slid the 3 metal fleck blocks into the furnace, placed a lump of coal beneath them, and watched as the fire blazed up. What came out wasn't copper or brass, but something much more valuable. What came out was nothing less than the metal that literally built the modern world. What came out was iron.
Yeah!
The modern world's built with steel, not iron. But steel is partially iron. Look! I shouted through my observation bubble to the animals. Picking out a doorway next to my window, I hobbled across the meadow to show them the 3 shining bars. Look what's right under our feet!
Moo!
Said the cow with a chorus of
Bah, 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 bah,
from the 2 sheep, and even a few distance
Cluck, cluck, clucks.
from the chickens. Yes, grass, haha, I said. But underneath that grass, underneath the dirt, the stone, sand, and gravel is something that's going to change everything around here. I raised the bars like an Olympic medal, because thanks to my new method, the way of the 5 P's, I've just kicked the Stone Age into the Iron Age. That's a great place to end the chapter on, because the chapter ends here.
I think that's one time he didn't really screw up.
Yeah!
Other than not healing his ankle by just eating more apples.
The one time.
Or whatever food he has.
Oh my god. The chapter ended on a positive note. Anyways, see you next chapter. I hope you enjoyed.
And now you know how to mine too.
See ya!
Bye!
Bye!